Hey everybody, Ajin here coming at you with another video. Today I wanted to make a video for gold farming, specifically around the honeyback hive mother and the bee mount. So basically to get the bee mount you need to collect jellies, and the jellies on certain servers, I imagine most of them, sell really well. For this example, I'm on one of my servers where it's been selling like crazy. So I wanted to do a little video just to show you guys my route, what you need, and what I've been doing to make a ton of gold in just the past week. We'll check it out after in my mailbox. But to actually get the bee mount, which is this one right here, the honeyback harvester, you need to do a series of quests and a lot of farming of these jellies. It's not hard. It's just it takes a while to be able to get the rep and the maturity of the actual hive mother bee. So there's a bunch of videos on YouTube for that, so you guys could go check that out. I wanted to concentrate more on the gold farming aspect of it. So the first thing that's going to take probably a while, but it is doable, is to get the beholder's goggles from Barry. So to get this, you need to be revered with the honeyback hive. Once again, this is by turning in the jellies, doing certain dailies. You have the honey smasher that you could kill every day, which will give you some rep. So once you get this, so the grind initially to get to revered is quite long. Not the easiest, but it's time consuming, let's say. Once you get the holder's goggles, everything becomes so much more smoother. So that's something that you will have over here. So I have the beholder's goggles here, and once I click it, I get the buff. So now I could track the jelly deposits on the minimap. So I'm going to open up my minimap right here. As you can see, I have an add-on which shows basically all the spawn nodes. I'm in obviously Storm Song Valley. So over here you can see it pretty much spawns all over the map. When you don't have these goggles, it's a little harder, but once you get the goggles, it goes by so much faster. So you guys won't have an issue. I'll show you guys a bit my route that I do, and I'm actually going to do 30 minutes of farming. And the reason I'm going to do 30 minutes specifically is because of this guy, the jelly magnet. So the jelly magnet, it occasionally finds more jelly from jelly deposits for 30 minutes. This is something that you could get from looting the jellies, so you have a chance to get it. Once you get it, it's really worth it. So let's get into the farm. I'll show you guys a bit my route. What I like to do is I like to go all around the perimeter for my first run, and then once I get back to where I am now, I'll cut in more towards the middle where you see my cursor. I'll cut in more towards the middle. I'll come back here, then I'll go back around. So by the time I do 1 or 2 turns, usually a lot of it gets time to despawn, to spawn rather. So let's get this 30-minute farm going. I'm gonna go based off of my jelly magnet. So as you can see on the mini map right here, you could see the spawns. You could see another one here. You could see another one here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around, collect the jellies for 30 minutes, and then I'll show you guys my yield. Keep in mind that this is with the jelly magnet. So we're gonna pop it here, and I'll talk to you guys in 30 minutes. There it is. So right there, we just got a jelly magnet and rich jelly. So that's really awesome. And something I might have forgotten to say before, just for people that might not know, this is what it looks like, the jellies. There's different types with different amounts of, I guess, honeycombs, if you want to call them that. So that one had 3. We'll see some of them are attached on a tree, like this one. So that's what you'd be looking for if it's on a tree. And then we'll have another one over here. This is the 3rd type that you could find around. So they're kind of subtle. Without the goggles, it's a little harder. Another rich jelly. So that was just to give you guys a little heads up. If ever you haven't seen them before, at least you'll know what to look out for if you don't have the goggles yet. As you can see with the goggles, it shows up right on your mini map, so it's easier to locate. Okay, so what happened right there is that I tried to loot it, and because of the person that was right here that just looted it before me, I didn't get it. So if ever you're doing this farm and someone is in front of you grabbing all of them before you could do anything, try to change path, because I've noticed sometimes when you're gonna go to grab a bunch of the jellies, if someone looted it before you and you're on the same path, so you're trailing behind them, well, you'll get a few of them where you'll loot it, but nothing will happen. You won't actually get the items, so just be careful of that, guys. Speaking from experience.
The residents of Millstone have been plagued with all manner of ill fortune. Their food stores are infested with pests. Let's help clear them out.
It's too far away. I'm out of range.
So over here I got a minuscule fez. You'll get a few of these little, hold on a sec, cosmetic items for your pet. So place a fez on your bee companion pet. Doesn't really do much, it's just an aesthetic thing, so don't get too excited if ever you get one of these. Because initially when I did, I was like, oh, what could this be? And yeah, it's not very important. Over here I'm going a bit off of my route, but I let the honeycombs guide me on my path, so I'll try to get back on the route here, but I mean, if they're on your map, get them. And as you can see, the royal jelly, you get them pretty often. So I mean, don't be too scared, especially when you're at the point where you have your goggles and you already have a jelly magnet equipped. Don't be scared to use them when you are going to do a bit of a farming session. It's really worth it, and as you can see, you kind of get them relatively often.
By the abyssal depths, this aberration must not be allowed to threaten our people any longer.
I need to get closer.
So over here you can see that this guy just posted the honeyback event. That's an event as well. Good for getting the rep, I would say, to be able to get revered, to get the goggles that I was talking about, the beholder's goggles. So if you could find that in the looking for group tool, if you could join them, especially in the beginning, until you get your goggles, it's a long grind. Once you get your goggles, it's a lot more relaxing, and it's just like herbing. Um, well, for me, anyways, it's a lot better than Irving, but depends on your server, I guess. So just keep an eye out for those, especially in the beginning when you want to get your rep up. Do as many as you can. They give you little daily or weekly reps, so that's something worth looking out for. And this is the honey smasher I was telling you guys about. This guy, you could kill him once a day, and I think he gives us something like 500 rep. Try to find a group for that as well. He has a lot of health, and doing it solo will take you a long time. So just be careful for that. And now we're coming up on our second turn, so let's just keep it going. Now I'm going to try and do the inner circle more than anything else for my route.
It's too far away.
The residents of Millstone have been
I'm out of
plagued with all
range.
manner of ill fortune. Their food stores are infested with pests.
By the abyssal depths, this aberration must not be allowed to threaten our people any longer. The simple life. One day, Lo decided to...
Horde in this area have chased the wildlife into the lowlands. Help the hunt. I'm hearing reports of some sort of horrible plant monstrosity near the crawl. Our mechan-
The thorns will grow...
need to get closer. I can't use that item yet.
Ah, Master Beneath.
House storms.
I'll make an example of you!
By the abyssal depths, this aberration must not be allowed to threaten our people.
we're not really following a route right now, since we only have 30 seconds on our jelly magnet. We are just going to try and get as much as we can before it runs out. And then after, we are going to beeline, pun intended, to the cave.
These lands will be ours.
Let's get our last one before the timer runs out. And there you have it. All right, so let's get back to the cave. Just to explain one or two things to you guys. And then after, we will do the countdown. And we'll go to the auction house in the mailbox for me to show you guys a bit the yield that this could potentially give us on your servers. I'm gonna skip these jellies for the purpose of the video, since we did do exactly 30 minutes of farming. So I want it to be quite representative of what we would actually do if we did it for an hour. So over here, here's Barry. Like I said, he will only be useful for the beholder's goggles. After that, with the jellies, to get the actual bee mount, you need to turn it into a little bee over here, which he matures with time. And eventually, once you get him to, I think it's mature, he will give you a quest for the bee mount, which you could just learn. So over here, let's do our little countdown. How much do we have? So during 30 minutes, we got 3 royal jellies. On my server, they sell for approximately 527 gold each. So that's a total of 1,500 gold right there for all 3 of them. We got 9 rich jelly, which sell for an average of 275 gold each, which comes out to 2.5k. And finally, we came out with 203 thin jellies, which come out to 15,000. So if we have 15,000 plus 2,500 plus 1,500, 2, 3, 4, let's say 20,000 gold for 30 minutes. So we're looking at about roughly 40,000 gold per hour farm. Now, one thing, I haven't had to do this on my server because all 3 of them sell really well. I do have to admit that the royal jelly and the rich jelly sell a lot faster than the thin jellies, which is normal because you have less turn-ins. The royal jellies will give you more rep and more friendliness towards the bee that you'd have to turn it into. So it's a no-brainer that most people go for the royal jellies, then the rich jellies, then the thin jellies. However, if you go to the honeyback hive mother over here, you could trade off your thin jellies, as you can see, for a rich jelly. Or you could turn in your thin jellies for a royal jelly. You could do the same thing, but with a royal jelly for thin jellies. So depending on the pricing of your jellies on your server, you could do this little switch. Or if you're trying to sell certain jellies faster, let's say you want to sell the royal because you want to put the royal on the auction house because they sell a lot faster, and maybe the gold is better because keep in mind it's 8 thin jellies for 1 royal. So you could do the calculations and see if it's worth it to you on that server. My experience on this server has been a lot of people, the royal and the rich jelly sell pretty frequently. Sometimes for the thin jelly, I need to do maybe 1 or 2 scans before they actually sell. So that's just a little something I wanted to tell you guys. So now for the proof, let's go to Stormwind, and I want to show you guys my mailbox for the last week that I've been selling thin jellies, just to give you guys an idea of how much they've been selling for on my server, and to prove to you guys that what I'm talking about is actually valid. Once again, one thing I do want to mention is that it is very server dependent. So if you guys think you can get the same numbers as me, the same sell prices as me, it might not be the case. An example of this is the thin jellies were selling for 200 gold a pop a week ago. now they're down to 75 gold a pop. Still worth it, but it's something that varies a lot. So for the proof, let's see. If you guys are interested in seeing my bail box opening, I usually do it on Tuesdays. I send out a video and I explain exactly everything that's been selling. But if we go through quick here just to concentrate on the jellies, over here, thin jellies, 55 of them for 3.4 thousand gold. Let's see if we could go a little further. Rich jellies, 13 of them for 4.6 thousand gold. Thin jellies, 180 of them for 13,000 gold. More royal jelly for 2.2k gold. Do we have any more on this page? Rich jelly, 3.5 thousand for 10. Royal again, 422 gold. Thin jellies, 232 for 16,000. Rich, two of them for 286. Thin jelly, 35 for 2.5k. More thin for 22 of them for 1.9k. Etc, etc. So you guys could see that it is very much worth it. And I have to admit, on this server, I have not been able to keep the supply up. I don't do the farm every day. I do it maybe 2-3 times a week for 30 minutes each time, each session. So just keep that in mind, guys. And let's see if we could post these bad boys up to see if, so 527, let's post it, 12 hours. Rich jelly, post it for 12 hours. And thin jelly, let's post it for 12 hours. So as you guys can see, they are all posted up. We got the rich, whoops, let's refresh. We got the thin jellies, we got the rich jellies, and we got the royal jellies on the auction house. So there it is, guys. This is I think this is a very good farm to have. Once again, I just want to reiterate, it is server dependent. So check this out before you actually commit to doing this server, this farm, I mean. Keep in mind that it is quite a grind to get to the goggles. Until you get the goggles, this farm is not worth it because you won't be able to track the jellies. So it'll be very hard to farm. You're going to have to really go off the landscape and just try to find them. And as you saw in the in a few of the farms I was doing, they're not so, they don't sparkle, they don't come out of the environment. So just keep that in mind. And there you go. That pretty much sums up the video for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want more content. If you guys have any comments, please list them down below. It would be a pleasure for me to answer you guys. So thank you all and have a good day.